Start with a shocking statistic about the rarity of this $2 coin and its staggering market value to captivate the audience immediately. 1971 $2. While it might look like just another quarter, this coin carries a story and value that might just surprise you. So, sit back and get ready to hear about this remarkable coin and why it could be worth a lot more than you ever imagined. Now, let's begin with a bit of history. In 1971, the United States was transitioning into a new era. The country was in the midst of social and political changes, with the economic landscape evolving as well. The U.S. Mint issued the $2 coin that year as part of its regular coinage series. The design, created by artist John Flanagan, features a portrait of George Washington on the obverse, surrounded by the familiar Liberty inscription. On the reverse, we see the majestic eagle with the motto E Pluribus Unum displayed proudly. This design, with its timeless appeal, was already popular, but there's much more to this coin than meets the eye. The thing that sets the 1971 $2 apart from other coins is its rarity and the unique errors that have turned it into a collector's dream. Let's talk about why this seemingly ordinary coin has such an extraordinary value. First, we need to understand the importance of error coins in the world of numismatics. As you may know, errors happen during the minting process, and some of these mistakes turn out to be incredibly valuable. The 1971 $2 is no exception. Some of these coins were mistakenly struck with double dies, which means that the design was stamped twice, creating a noticeable overlap on the coin. These double die coins are highly sought after by collectors because of the rarity and uniqueness of the error. If you happen to find a 1971 quarter with a double die, you could be sitting on a small fortune, but that's not all. There are also 1971 quarters that were struck on wrong planchets, meaning they were made using the wrong type of metal. These rare variations can also cause the coin's value to skyrocket. Such coins, which are known as wrong planchet errors, are incredibly difficult to find and are considered highly collectible. These types of errors add layers of excitement for collectors, who always keep an eye out for any unusual features or markings on their coins. So, why are these errors so important? Well, error coins are incredibly rare because, once they are discovered, they are often pulled from circulation. Most of the time, a coin with a noticeable mistake will be taken out of circulation or melted down, leaving only a few specimens to survive. This makes the 1971 $2, especially those with double die or wrong planchet errors, incredibly hard to find, and that's exactly why they can command such high prices on the market. You might be wondering, how much could a 1971 quarter really be worth? Well, for a typical 1971 quarter in good condition, the value isn't much, maybe around a couple of dollars. But if you happen to find one with an error, the value can increase exponentially. In fact, one of the rarest 1971 quarters, the double die variety, has been known to fetch up to $86,000. That's right, $86,000 for a single coin. Imagine what you could do with that kind of money. It's not just a coin, it's an investment, a piece of history, and a collector's dream all rolled into one. Now, I know what you're thinking, where can I find one of these? Well, the truth is, they're not exactly easy to come by. But that's what makes them so special. If you have a keen eye for detail and a bit of luck on your side, you might just stumble upon one of these rare treasures. It could be hiding in a change jar, mixed in with all the other coins you have lying around, or perhaps it's tucked away in a drawer you haven't opened in years. For those of you who are serious collectors, it's worth noting that many of these rare 1971 quarters have been graded by professional numismatists. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. If you're fortunate enough to find one in near-perfect condition, you could be looking at a coin that could sell for even more than the typical price we mentioned earlier. As a collector, it's important to always check your coins thoroughly. A simple magnifying glass in some patients can go a long way in spotting subtle details like the double die or misaligned strikes that make these coins valuable. You never know when you might come across one of these rare and valuable pieces of American history. So, the next time you're going through your pocket change or browsing through a coin collection, keep your eyes peeled for the 1971 $2. Remember, it's not just about its design or the year it was minted, it's about the rarity, the history, and the errors that make this coin an exceptional find. To wrap things up, remember that the value of a coin isn't always determined by how old it is or how many were produced. Sometimes, it's all about the mistakes that were made during the minting process and how those mistakes turned a simple piece of currency into a rare and valuable artifact. If you happen to have one of these rare 1971 quarters, take a closer look. It could be worth a lot more than you think. Top 2 1972 United States Quarter Dollar. It may seem like just another regular quarter, but trust us, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who enjoys learning about rare finds, this video is for you. You might be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it, so make sure you stick around until the end, because we're about to reveal just how much this coin could be worth. The 1972 quarter dollar was part of the ongoing series of U.S. coins minted in the early 70s. At first glance, it may seem like just another ordinary coin, but as many collectors will tell you, appearances can be deceiving. The truth is, this coin is much rarer and valuable than most people realize. But what makes this 1972 quarter stand out in the world of numismatics? Well, it all comes down to the errors and unique characteristics that make it so highly sought after by collectors. One of the most interesting things about the 1972 quarter dollar is the presence of a specific minting error, the infamous double die error. For those of you who may not know, a double die error occurs when a coin is struck multiple times, causing the design to appear doubled or shifted in certain places. This results in a noticeable overlap of the coin's features. In the case of the 1972 quarter, the double die error is particularly significant because it affects the lettering, the date, and sometimes even parts of George Washington's image on the obverse side of the coin. And now, you might be wondering why these errors are so important. Well, error coins are incredibly valuable because they are unique. Once a minting mistake is discovered, the affected coins are typically removed from circulation or melted down, which makes them incredibly rare. Because of this, error coins like the 1972 quarter are highly prized by collectors who are always searching for those elusive, one-of-a-kind pieces to add to their collections. What makes the 1972 double die error especially valuable is that only a small number of these coins were produced before the error was noticed and corrected. This means that, out of the billions of quarters minted in that year, only a very small fraction features the double die error. And even among those that do, only a few are in excellent condition, making them even rarer. If you happen to find one of these coins in your collection or while going through your pocket change, you could be holding a treasure that is worth far more than its face value. In addition to the double die error, the 1972 quarter dollar is also known for its unique wear patterns. As with many coins from the early 70s, the 1972 quarter was heavily circulated, and finding one in mint or near mint condition is quite rare. Coins that are well preserved, with no noticeable wear or damage, can fetch significantly higher prices than those that have been used for decades in day-to-day transactions. If you have a 1972 quarter in pristine condition, it could be worth far more than the typical coin. Now, let's talk about value. If you've got your hands on a 1972 quarter with the double die error or one in excellent condition, you might be wondering just how much it's worth. A regular 1972 quarter is worth just 25 cents, but when you factor in the rarity, the error, and the condition of the coin, things change dramatically. In fact, a single 1972 quarter featuring the double die error can be worth as much as $85,000. Yes, you heard that right, $85,000 for just one coin. That's an incredible return on investment for something as simple as a quarter. For those of you who are collectors, this is a perfect example of why it's so important to pay attention to the details when sorting through your coins. Coins with unique characteristics, especially those with minting errors, can be worth far more than their face value. If you have a collection of coins from the 1970s, take the time to carefully inspect them. A few minutes of attention could potentially lead you to a small fortune. The key takeaway here is that the 1972 quarter dollar is much more than just a piece of change. Thanks to the double die error, it has become a highly valuable coin, sought after by collectors all around the world. The rarity of these coins, combined with the fact that very few of them are in pristine condition, makes them an exceptional find. If you happen to discover a 1972 quarter in your collection, don't just toss it aside. Take the time to carefully inspect it for any signs of a minting error or unusual wear patterns. It could be worth far more than you think. So, if you've been collecting coins for years or if you've recently started, always remember to check the details. Coins from the 1970s, like the 1972 quarter, are part of a fascinating chapter in American history, and their value has only increased over time. Who knows? The next time you're sorting through your change, you could find a rare gem that could bring in thousands of dollars. To wrap up, the 1972 United States quarter dollar is a coin that's more than meets the eye. With its distinctive double die error and the rarity of well-preserved specimens, this coin is a must-have for serious collectors. If you're lucky enough to find one, you might be holding a coin worth $85,000. Keep your eyes peeled and your magnifying glass handy, because you never know when you might find that hidden treasure. Top 3 1988 quarter dollar, a coin that you might just have sitting in your collection or somewhere in your spare change, completely unaware of its value. Now, most people would look at this coin and think it's just a regular quarter, but trust me, there's a whole lot more going on here than meets the eye. Stick around to find out why this particular coin is so special, and you may just find out that it's worth far more than you think. Let's set the scene. The 1988 quarter dollar was part of the ongoing series of standard circulating coins produced by the U.S. Mint. It features the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse and the iconic eagle on the reverse. At first glance, there's nothing about this coin that screams rare or valuable. It looks like every other quarter out there. But that's where most people go wrong. The 1988 quarter dollar holds an interesting secret that only true collectors and keen-eyed numismatists know about. One of the key factors that makes this coin so valuable isn't just its age, it's about the specific errors and unique characteristics that can be found on certain 1988 quarters. Error coins, as most collectors know, are among the most sought after in the world of numismatics. These coins aren't your typical, run-of-the-mill pieces of currency. They're coins that were struck incorrectly during the minting process, making them incredibly rare and desirable. The 1988 quarter is no exception. One of the most fascinating errors associated with the 1988 quarter is the clash die error. For those of you who are unfamiliar with what a clash die is, let me explain. A clash die occurs when two dies used to stamp the coin come into contact with each other during the minting process, leaving an imprint of the opposing die's design on the coin. This creates a unique, and often quite dramatic, visual effect. In the case of the 1988 quarter, this error can result in a coin that has part of the reverse design, like the eagle, appearing on the obverse side, the side with Washington's portrait. This kind of error makes the coin instantly recognizable and highly coveted by collectors, but it doesn't stop there. Another mistake that occurred during the minting of some 1988 quarters was the off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet, the piece of metal that will become the coin, isn't properly aligned in the press, causing part of the design to be cut off. Coins with off-center strikes are visually striking and extremely rare. Imagine holding a quarter that looks like part of Washington's face or the eagle has been chopped off. It's not only unique, but it's a true piece of minting history. Now, let's talk about the value of these error coins. While a standard 1988 quarter in good condition might only be worth 25 cents, a 1988 quarter with a clash die or off-center strike can be worth significantly more. You might be wondering exactly how much these rare quarters can go for. Well, the price can vary depending on the type of error and the condition of the coin, but if you happen to find one of these error coins in mint or near mint condition, it could fetch an incredible amount of money. Some of these rare 1988 quarters have been known to sell for as much as $80,000. Yes, you heard that right, $80,000 for just a single quarter. Imagine stumbling upon a coin like that. It's not just a lucky find, it's a true treasure. That's why coin collectors are always on the lookout for these types of errors. The rarity and the fact that these mistakes are so hard to find in circulation is what makes them so valuable. Even if you don't have one in your collection right now, knowing that such a valuable coin exists out there is enough to get any collector excited. Now, I know some of you might be wondering, how do I know if my 1988 quarter is one of these rare error coins? Well, the key is to carefully inspect the coin for any signs of misstrikes or unusual marks. If the design on your coin seems out of place or there's something unusual about the alignment, you might be looking at a clash die or off-center strike. The best way to really know what you have is to get the coin professionally graded by a numismatist. These experts can determine the exact error and the grade of the coin, which will ultimately determine its value on the market. For those of you who are new to coin collecting, this is a great example of why it's so important to take a closer look at your coins. Whether you're going through your change or inspecting a coin collection, always keep an eye out for any imperfections or errors. You never know when you might find a coin that could be worth far more than its face value. To sum up, the 1988 United States quarter dollar is not just another run-of-the-mill coin, it's a piece of U.S. history with the potential for incredible value. Whether it's the clash die error, the off-center strike, or any other unique characteristics, this coin is a must-have for collectors. And if you're fortunate enough to have one of these rare error coins in your possession, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So next time you're going through your coins, remember to look carefully. The 1988 quarter might just be the key to unlocking a treasure worth $80,000. Keep your eyes peeled, and happy collecting. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can stay updated on all the latest coin discoveries. Keep hunting those rare finds.